Hi, everybody. Mark here for your weekly dose of ASL round two. So, today we're going to talk about ASL rules. And these are the kind of rules that make you have a bad day when you're playing ASL and you're trying to figure out why, oh, why are the rules written like this? Now, I'm sure there might be some reasons here, and I don't always want to question the wisdom of the rules writers of ASL. I'm sure there's some hidden rationale for something I'm going to show you here, but it eludes me. So maybe if you guys can comment on what I'm about to say, I'd appreciate it. I'm looking forward to hearing some comments from you rules lawyers out there about this one. So let's have a look. All right, what am I doing? Here we go. All right, here we are. Hypothetical situation in the desert, 1948. You've got Russian IS-3s over here coming down, and you've got an array of British and German allies facing them down. And, well, clearly, not even the Nashorn here wants to face one of these babies. Okay. These have 26 armor. This has a kill of 27. So other than possibly going for deliberate immobilization, as the Russians have moved within 6 hexes to get the maximum possible attack to hit possibility. So instead, what we're going to do is take advantage of the free VCA change that's available. These guys weren't able to go in motion because they saw these tanks coming from miles away. So now here they are. And what we have to do is get out of trouble. Well, let's look at each situation. Now what is this thing here? Okay, this is a Cromwell. Look at that, 18 movement points. Here's a German half-track, 16 movement points. Nashorn has 8 movement points. And then here, I've got a couple of these here. Uh, what are these? Stu H's, 42s. All right, with a VCA ACAC machine gun. Now, so what can these guys do? Well, due to the provisions of this rule, I'll show it to you. VCA can be changed at the end of any fire phase in which it is still eligible to fire a turret or bow-mounted weapon. So, let's just say that it's the defensive fire phase, and these guys know that they need to get out of dodge. So, he hasn't shot his 2 firepower bow machine gun yet. So it can make a free covered arc change, doink, 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 vehicle covered arc change. And now it is ready to speedily get out of trouble here. All right. Now notice how many movement points that would have taken if you had started and rotated. This would be start for 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's always 4 movement points for these vehicles. Okay, now 4 divided by 18. Look at this. We have these available in this modern era. 4 divided by 18. This is 22% of its movement factors have been saved by this maneuver. Now, let's look at the Nashorn. Okay, Nashorn can do the same thing. Doesn't even have to roll for ESB as far as I know. It's just sitting there. It's just going to do a free covered arc change based upon its 3 firepower coaxial machine gun. So here it goes. Let's rotate this. Dink, dink, dink. And that normally would have cost it 4 MPs from starting to flip around, but now it's saved itself 4 MPs. That's 50% of its movement points. Okay, 50%. All right. Now remember, this is a lumbering, bumbling, stumbling armored fighting vehicle, but it is now nimbly in the face of the enemy rotated for free its vehicle covered arc. Okay. Everybody's shrugging their shoulders. Yeah, yeah, we know about this. It's a little bit gamey. Yeah, okay, let's just take a look at that. All right, well, but now we have these units. Now, assuming their main armaments haven't fired, or have fired actually, and of course the machine gun is an ACAC machine gun is the main armament for this. So, what are the rules for anti-aircraft machine guns? I just want to take a free spin, just like everybody else, and save myself 4 movement points. No, 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 you can't do that. I'm going to show you that basically you're out of luck. Okay. You can't do any free turret changes or bow mounted weapon changes because you don't have one of those. You only have an ACAC machine gun. You're not allowed to do the free rotation. Okay. It's not allowed. Now, there are some Q&A about this that have come up. And what's interesting here, um, well, this isn't even Q&A. What's interesting, and I'm sorry I have to laugh here, is that uh, AAMG with restricted covered arc, for example, the German Stug 3G or the French H-35, must pay the applicable case A penalty for changing VCA. All right. So technically, if it was going to fire, oops, let's see. If this Stug was going to fire, it could rotate and shoot its ACAC machine gun at an empty hex. This is perfectly permissible. No matter what the DRM is, you're allowed to fire at empty hexes. So instead of waiting until it does its free check, it would just go ahead and say, well, I have to change this one would have to change anyway to shoot at one of these. This one says, well, I'm gonna do a free. It's not free, but I'm gonna rotate because my ACAC machine gun has a fixed covered arc. So I can do this. I can rotate, ding, 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 and now I can shoot at an empty hex near me for 2 factors at +3, 4, 5. Obviously impossible to do anything with a 2 factor firepower with +5, but it doesn't matter. You're allowed to do it and make the roll. You have to make the roll, so you might break the machine gun. Okay. So one might think you'd be allowed to do that with this particular machine gun, but you're not because it doesn't have a restricted covered arc. So this one, not allowed to play that little game. This guy's stuck. He is not allowed to make any kind of VCA change because for ACAC machine guns, it is not permitted. There's even a um, rule here and a Q&A, uh, series of questions here that were asked. May an AFV change its TCA or VCA at the end of a friendly fire phase in which the AFV may fire its AAMG? The answer is no. So there's no free changes. If you wanted to voluntarily change its VCA with firing its AAMG by paying case A DRM, no, unless you are restricted. So, for some goofy reason, all right, and I don't know the reason for this. It doesn't make sense to me. But okay, that means these guys can turn and shoot their ACAC machine guns, but this one can't. And so I did try to do this in a scenario, by the way, and the rules lawyer, and he is a rules lawyer, he remembered this vague little rule. And so I learned the hard way that well, the half tracks in Cam Sin that the Germans are using are not allowed to do a free little adjustment. They can't even adjust and shoot their machine guns. They can't even do that. You can't. So I'm sorry for laughing here. Now it becomes even more amusing for these two vehicles. You can see this carrier here. You might see that there's a little star for this vehicle, 2 dash star. This particular vehicle is allowed to I think in any fire phase or something for maybe one it can fire, or maybe it has to suspend all its movement points. Doesn't matter. It could change its bow coaxial machine gun to an ACAC machine gun. If it did that, it wouldn't be able to do the free rotation. As long as it's got it in its bow position, it can do the free rotation without having to shoot its machine gun. Okay, that's the rule. Whereas this one, let's say this one, this is a, what is this thing? A Morris CS9 car. This particular one, let's assume that the ACAC machine gun has been switched. So if it's got a partner over here, let me clone one. So this one never switched its machine guns. So uh, it's in the bow position. So it can do a free change. This one cannot. All right. That's my little pet peeve for the day. That's your daily dose of ASL here. So just remember this. If you think you can maneuver your much more maneuverable half tracks better than a lumbering giant of a Nashorn, in this situation, you cannot. You cannot maneuver that half track any better or as well as a Cromwell. You can't do it. It's not possible. Sorry, folks. So that's it for today. Sorry I don't have a little bit more time for you, but that's what happens. I just don't always have enough time to do a long video, but I'm going to try to do this for sure every week when at all possible. So thanks a lot for listening. Like and subscribe, or if you stayed for the whole video and you didn't like it, thanks for watching.